Hello everybody, welcome back. This is JudiciousFire. I'm on the iOS server. Going to be looking at the top 10 attackers in Castle Clash. It's a companion piece to the top 10 defenders in Castle Clash that I recently did. I'm going to be looking at the top 10 heroes to use in a base attack scenario. Let's begin first, as we did with the last list. Let's begin with an honorable mention to get us started. Okay, our honorable mention on the top 10 attackers list is going to be Michael. I put him in as an honorable mention because of his ability to buff the team. Michael is an auto proc hero. You can drop him off into the corner, far away from the action and all the violence of the attack, and he will buff globally your entire attack squad. Making them about 70% at 70% gain in their attack ability as well as their attack speed. That happens with the Empower. Often I will run him with a Survival and Revitalize for that instant activation. But I find he goes off very, very quickly with the Empower. It also gives him that 40% health boost. Keep him alive a little bit longer. I run him with Eulophant to increase his dodge. And also here are his attributes. You see, none of these things like attack really mean anything. I'm using him for buffing purposes only. But that health at 1.4 million is certainly nice. We go to a Sacred Light. Very good with the combination of the Empower. If you really want him to survive, a Survival with a Sacred Light, Survival with a Revite, a whole bunch of different ways to run Michael. But you really want to make sure he gets his proc off. Holy Conviction. I have no problem whatsoever in having things that reduce damage on Michael. I'm not using him for deflect. He doesn't serve that purpose for me in the game any longer. He's just the buffer. I have all dodge because I want the man to be alive. I don't want him to be deflecting anything. I don't even want him to be attacked. So I put him in there as a honorable mention in the hopes that you'll give him a try. If you need that little extra push over the edge to take out those Dove and Zeph teams and those really tough damage-capped heroes, try Michael. You'll get that quick boost, and it can often push you up over the edge. Okay, we'll go to number 10. And number 10 on our list is going to be Ronin. We are looking at base damaging heroes as well as hero killers. So we're going to get a little blend of both. Ronin is coming in at the top of the top 10 countdown, maybe bottom of the list, if you will, but certainly better than the other 75. Ronin is the quintessential base smasher. He goes in there undetected, stealthily, and smashes up buildings. He really can't be relied on for hero damage in any way. This is probably why I would put him just making the top 10 list. He's not going to be taking out any kind of fully upgraded hero in today's game. He's just there to do base damage. I run him with a Survival. Often I'll pair that up with a Revive. He gets a great amount of playtime when he's using that combo. Or a Revive and a whole host of other things. You can even use like a Brute Force, a Vigorous Fury. He's got a great crit rate, but again, he's not taking out any heroes. Doom Balloon, so he can be a carrier for Doom Balloon. And during his life, do base damage and let Doom Balloon do base damage. You see his damage and his health. He has a really great attack speed and tremendous movement speed. Tied with Skull Knight for the most movement speed in the game. You can see his very high dodge rate, decent critical. The Revive with the Survival. Again, that's a really long-living combo for Ronin. I found Burning Plate, of the so many enchantments that are great on Ronin, I found Burning Plate to be the best. First of all, it helped me to get through Insane 8. You have to use Ronin in the Insane 8 series, and I found that every time he got hung up on an Archdemon and couldn't move forward, he was still doing building damage to those around him. He was still killing heroes with the Burning Plate. He was still effective even when he got hung up. And those times that he wasn't hung up and he was able to move freely, he was doing, again, base damage and hero damage. Find the same thing in an attack scenario with Ronin. If he's going to walk around the board, let him melt things with Burning Plate while he's walking around. I get a lot of damage that way. And all dodge. Let him be the elusive character that he is. Okay, our number 9. Could go to Minnow. And Minnow is probably the best base smasher in the game. He came out first few months of this game. And during that time, maybe the 7th or 8th hero that was under release, during that time, he was an amazing base smasher. And he's never really had that role filled by any other hero. He has the ability to smash, 50-plus buildings and turn them to rubble. A big part of that is the ability to proc immediately, and you need to have a revitalize on this guy, some way, shape, or form. So I have that as my main talent. I have a backup talent, and the talent is survival. I know it seems strange, but there's no other thing that Minnow does other than smash bases immediately. So there's really only one way to run him. I found a second talent slot, just allowed me to build a Minnow that is not nearly as strong, not nearly the base smasher, but can survive a full 3-minute game mode and can actually get, multiple skill activations going. So I did that same thing with Pumpkin Duke when I gave him Sacred Light. They don't perform as well as they're intended to, but at least they stay alive, although I use it very infrequently. We see a 54,000 base attack. Really, really nice. I would typically pair him up with Punching Box to give him extra damage. Be cautious, though, because Punching Box can destroy buildings around Minnow, causing him a very difficult time in actually hitting something and proccing. You see his attributes. None of them have been affected in any way. I've got a 9 Unholy Pact. By running a Revite and an Unholy Pact, I get about 4,000, maybe 3,000 extra base attack by making Unholy Pact my insignia. Victory Lunge for extra attack, man's all attack. And here's why none of his attributes were augmented. I put everything into attack. And that's what got his attack, base attack up to 54,000. Okay, let's move on to our number 8 hero in Castle Clash Top Attackers. Going to move on to Creation 01. Our man Creation 01 is one of the heaviest hitters in the game. He is the kind of hero that does a great job at sustained, prolonged, repeated damage. This is the kind of damage you need to drill through those damage-capped heroes. You're not going to do it with once in a while heavy crit shots. You're going to do it with a sustained, repeated damage like Creation 01 provides. I give him a survival during an attack scenario, typically giving him a Sacred Light insignia. Basically what you got is a huge tank, and you need that to keep him alive. In a defensive scenario, I would be running him as an auto-proc hero with Empower. I give him the new pet Drogo. Going to give him an attack boost. Going to give him a damage negation due to the fact that part of the damage is being deflected back at the enemy. You can see his high base attack, but it's multiplied so exponentially by his skill activation. Really amazing. You can see, again, none of these are augmented. I'm going to put it all into his attack. You can see with the Sacred Light, in a base defense scenario, I might run a Wicked Armor paired up with that in power. He can die from reflect and deflect damage in this game. Holy Conviction, a little bit of extra damage reduction, and all attack. Creation is a an amazing hitter, an amazing striker, but he suffers the same liability as Minotaur Chieftain, and that liability is survival. Creation is one of the first heroes to go out. Minnow, sometimes you're lucky if you get one skill activation from him. There is the stealth minnow method, but that does require the proper circumstances, proper setup, and also it does require a little bit of luck and the right heroes on the base. You try that with certain defenders and it's just not going to work. It's the same thing goes with creation. These are very effective attackers, but they are lower on the list due to their difficult time staying alive. Okay, let's move on to number 7 in the attackers list. We got Ripper. Ripper is an amazing silencer, preventing skill activation. In a defensive scenario, I might run him with the Empower. He's an auto-proc hero. But in a full-on attack, I'm probably going to go with full survival as well as Sacred Light. It's not the single skill activation that's going to kill off today's heroes. It's skill activations that happen over a 1.5, 2.5 minute time period. This is why it's become a defensive game. So things like Unholy Pact and War God, these major attack talents, unless it's on a hero like Minnow, who's only serving to proc once, you're going to find that any other hero ends up going out pretty quickly unless he or she has a damage cap. We've got Yolafan for the extra dodge. Ripper's a dodge guy. You can see about 50,000 base attack, 1.3 million health. You can see his high dodge, 66. And the Sacred Light paired up with the survival for a really tanky Ripper who doesn't get one-shotted immediately. Holy Conviction for more damage reduction and all that dodge. Okay, let's move on to our number 6 hero. Before we jump over, if there's a word to say about Ripper in terms of his lacking in the attack department, again, it's the same thing that the others suffer from. It's a lack of survivability. You're lucky if he lasts a little while. He's not making it the full 3-minute battle unless you park him off to the corner, unless you keep him out of the middle of the action, unless you've got a really good team that can help heal and buff and support him. He does not have the propensity to die immediately like a minnow, but he certainly is not one of the last standing in this game. So you have to be careful in keeping him well protected. Okay, go on to our next hero here, and it's going to be Anubis. Anubis made the list here at number 6 because Anubis is an amazing hero. He does damage to 100 heroes. He will clear the entire board of Guardian troops. Okay, so maybe 3-4 skill activations, and there's not a single Guardian troop left. That means the rest of your team can actually rain strikes down on the heroes' heads without being impeded by hitting other enemies that are known as those Guardians. He's also going to be able to reduce the attack ability of the base defenders by 50%. This is going to make your whole team function better. So it really is, he's an all-around great hero. Also, his 3 revives are going to give him the ability to stay in it throughout the entire battle. He's one of the guys that can last as long as you've built him with some kind of damage reduction in today's game. I do that with survival. The auto proc is for the empowers for the auto proc as a base defender. I give him punching box also for a big damage boost. You can see his damage coming in at about 52 almost. See his attributes here. A little bit of Sacred Light, going to be very, very nice for the man. If you really just want him to clear troops, you can try a Revite. He'll just start working on that immediately. I like to try to keep him in for that consistent attack reduction against the enemy. Also, Anubis, if you run him with, punching box, and here's a little bit of extra damage reduction from Holy Conviction, and all of that extra attack, he can kill heroes. As long as the hero doesn't have a damage cap, he can be susceptible to Anubis. Downside to Anubis is it does take all of this attack to get Anubis's abilities up high enough that he's actually able to start killing off today's fully upgraded heroes. Also, I find that as the months go by, it's like every month, it takes another 10 seconds off the life of Anubis. Every month reduces his survivability in Castle Clash. He's starting to drop lower and lower down the list in terms of his attack ability. Still one of the best base defenders, but you just have to be very careful. It's like Ripper in that respect. You've got to keep him well guarded and, good supportive team, good Walla Walla, occultist, somebody on there for some healing, and he'll be all right. Okay, our number 5 hero is going to be Lazulix. Laz is an amazing hero. He's got great survivability. He's got the ability to do massive base damage. We're also looking at that on this list, not just hero damage, but base damage. He can take out 35% of a base just with one skill activation. He also has the ability to freeze up those on the base. Now, he might not be able to kill off today's fully upgraded heroes, but he can certainly hold them in a freeze or a stasis while your other heroes do that. So he's a great, great team player. His survival is a great way to keep him alive, along with a Sacred Light. I find that he lasts a very, very long time, a lot longer than the Revive option. You can do the Revive with a Revite, get an immediate skill activation. He keeps coming back, keeps activating his skill. You'll blow up somebody's base pretty much just fine with that. I've got Fennec Pet on him. You can do really any kind of pet. Give him the ability to heal in addition with his survival with Fennec Pet. Typically, I'm going to be running Rudolph on somebody, another hero. So I typically put Fennec or maybe Mini Angie on Laz if I want to give him an extra healing capability. You see about 50,000 base attack, about almost 1.4 million health. Very nice dodge, again 6/6. Good Sacred Light, give him a little bit of extra damage reduction. He has no damage reduction once that shield goes down. He could be a dead man that moment that happens. Give him some damage reduction. And dodge. No reason for him to get hit during that momentary window when his shield is down. If there's a problem with Laz, it's the fact that he doesn't do enough damage. He's not taking out any heroes today. And if they are, they're, it's the ones I put on this list towards the bottom. While they are still great attackers, it's going to be Anubis he takes out, or it might be, Creation he takes out. But he's not taking out any of the premier heroes with a damage cap these days. It just doesn't have it. He doesn't have it in him. He's not that kind of an attacker. But he is a great team player, and he will set a stage for your other heroes to shine and to look their best. Okay, number 4 on our list, and we have the Bogeyman. Bogeyman is just straight attack. He is the highest damage dealing sniper in this game. And I mean that in the sense that if the hero doesn't have a damage cap, Bogey can kill him. So you're looking at pretty much just Lavanica, Zephyrica, and Dovekeeper that can't be killed by Bogeyman. Now, of course, you make the argument that those with Revive, etc. But I'm talking about one life. He'll cancel that one life with one shot. He will kill 5 heroes at a time. So you can wipe out nearly an entire team of heroes simply with one Bogeyman activation. That's why I have the Revite. Just like a Minnow. Like Minnow does base damage, Bogey does hero damage. I just need him to go off one time. Take out those heroes, be done. I use the Revite for that, and in a defense scenario, I would have him auto-proccing with the Empower. I use the punching box to get his attack up. You see his attack, his base attack, it's at 50, it's over 56,000. None of these have been augmented. Run the Unholy Pact, I get thousands of extra attack added on to my base with the fact that I'm running Unholy Pact as the insignia. And really, this is the way to be running him. I think it was since he was introduced into the game. You just want him to quickly snipe people out and then be done. Victory Lunge for extra attack and all attack. Now, Bogey has a revive, but even with that revive, you're going to find him to be a very, very short-lived hero, and that is his downfall. It is pretty hard to keep him alive past that immediate skill activation. So you might benefit by using him in the sense of clearing the troops first with Anubis. Then when it's just the heroes on the base, you drop Bogey off into the corner and see him immediately activate, then see a few heroes on the base you're attacking immediately die. That's really how he is best used. Okay, let's move on to our number 3 hero. We have Lavanica. Lavanica is a great dragon. He is starting to fall behind in terms of a few of the other heroes in the game. His damage cap, and this would be his downfall, his damage cap does have a stoppage period, about 2 seconds of a cooldown, if you will. And during that time, he can get himself killed pretty quickly, especially in an attack scenario. I find him to be a strong base defender and have a higher survivability rate. But in an attack, I would not drop him first out onto the board. I would use your other stronger damage cap heroes first. But if you are dropping him second, third on the board, he can go the full 3 minutes. And he can take out 1 or 2 heroes in the meantime. I'm running him with the Blade Dance. I will do this often in the attack scenario with a mini Angie. A lot of healing. Something like a Blade Dance is really good for a hero that has a damage cap. Okay, incremental damage is then refreshed with incremental healing. All other heroes in this game that don't have a damage cap just get one-shotted and are killed, and no healing takes place. I see his attack, about 53. None of these have been augmented, and we'll see that in a moment. Sacred Light paired up. He's got to have damage reduction. If he doesn't have damage reduction, he's out during that 2-second window when his damage cap drops. Holy Conviction for the same reason, and all attack. A dodge Lavanica would be much better in all game modes, with one exception, and that is Archdemon. And I love Archdemon. It's probably my favorite game mode in Castle Clash. And you just can't change traits. Not when you've got 5s. It would be too gem intense a process. So I just run with an attack lava, and you would benefit more from dodge. He's an innate dodger, so make that even stronger, his ability. So that 2-second window is really his only downfall. This is why he's coming in so high on the list, up there at now number 3. Okay, let's move on to our number 2. Attack hero in Castle Clash. It's going to be Zeph. The new dragon Zeph is coming in at number 2. What you are looking at are 2 different builds. Bottom one is Empower. That's base defense. You can run a whole bunch of different things that way. Run a Brute Force for extra crit damage. Run a Vigorous Fury for extra critical chance and extra health. You could run a Survival. It would cost you in terms of your attack damage. That's why I don't run it that way, but you can certainly do that. You could run a Stealth. A whole bunch of different ways to run him defensively. Attack-wise, I go with a Survival as my base. I think that's a really great way to keep him alive. Now, with that, I can again run the Brute Force, the Vigorous Fury. I can run a Sharpen, get his accuracy and a crit up. But I can also run him with a Stealth. A Survival base and Stealth insignia is going to give you about a 6,000 to 7,000 attack bonus than if you were running it the other way around. So if you've got stealth on your Zeph and a survival insignia, switch those, and you're going to gain about 7,000 base attack. One of the ways to augment Zeph's abilities is through base attack, getting that up. So you get that up, then all of a sudden all of his attacks are getting stronger and stronger and stronger, the crit included. This build also features Doom Balloon. Okay, Zeph with a survival and a stealth and a Doom Balloon. This one hero will 100% every single base in Castle Clash. I don't care if you're 2 million might. I don't care if they let you have 8 heroes defending your base. He can't be stopped. It's not possible to stop him. You can solo every single base in Castle Clash. Now, that is the result of 2 things. Number 1, horrific game imbalance. The programmers in this game they come up with ideas, they don't test them. And 2, horrific base design. Our bases are made of sand, our heroes made of steel. So our base will be, with the Zeph combo, you will still have probably 4 or 5 heroes left on your base, but your base will get 100%. So they need to make it so you have to kill the heroes too, but that's another video. We've got about 53,000 base attack here. We've got really high accuracy. And that stealth I was talking about. Look, 8339. If it were survival, you'd be getting 2,000. A healing ritual. Man always attacking. That's what he does. He just attacks. Well, now he heals when he attacks. So all that healing, his health bar doesn't go down. And if it does, then stealth kicks in. There's no way to shut this guy down. I'm running majority accuracy. I started off many different ways. I had half crit, half accuracy. That's a great build. Fantastic. I'm just finding him, I'm missing too much. Now, all of a sudden, I'm hitting nearly all the time. So it's the old choice. Is it better to hit for a lot of damage once in a while, or is it better to hit for lower damage more often? I go lower damage more often, because who's giving me trouble in this game? Zephyrica and Dovekeeper. Okay. Well, high damage isn't going to do anything to them. They have a damage cap. So I need to hit more often, just in general. So accuracy is a great way to really whittle down the health reserve on damage capped heroes, as well as to prevent high dodge heroes from getting away. If there's a downside to Zephyrica, I would probably say the fact that there are limited builds to the man. And even though he is nearly indestructible, he doesn't do quite enough damage to take out other Zephs and other Doves if they are built in a similar way. They end up being nearly as indestructible as well. So, it's kind of the irresistible force meets the immovable object. What ends up happening is you eventually put a Doom Balloon on the guy and you say, who cares? Let's just get the 100% in building damage. And that's kind of where Castle Clash is leading. Okay, let's go to number 1. But before we go to number 1, we're going to throw in one honorable mention and then on to the number 1 attacker. Okay, our honorable mention is Commodore. I put Commo in here because she, like Minnow, is an amazing base smasher. I don't find her to be nearly as effective as Minnow. Minnow can take out nearly a whole base with one shot. And Commo can't even get close to that. Okay, she's going to take 15 skill activations before she's going to be taken out of base. But she can be a nice substitute if you don't have a Minnow. I run her with a survival Sacred Light, as she lives the longest. And it's not about doing damage here. Every time the anchor drops, she's going to destroy anything underneath it. It's about surviving. I need her to live for that 2 minutes so she can blow up the whole base. Either Sacred Light, then with a regen. You can do a lot of different things in terms of healing her and giving her damage reduction. I have no interest whatsoever in her deflect capability. That's useless. Okay, I'm using her as a base damager. There's no deflect going to take out one of these Zeph teams. So just use her as what she's designed for, a base damager. Got Rudolph there for the heals and the dispelling of a negative condition. You can see her damage, or her attack, I should say. Pretty decent stats all around. Got that Sacred Light to give her extra damage reduction, Holy Conviction. Again, not worried at all about the deflect. All health. Keep her alive as the tank she is. So if you really want to do some base damage and you don't have a minnow and you want to go the route of just blowing up buildings and not worrying about killing off any heroes, then go with a Commodore. She's not going to do hero damage in today's game against the top heroes, but she will 100% a base in a matter of a minute or two. Okay, we are on to number 1 attacker in the game. Number 1 base attacker, number 1 hero killer, number 1 Night Stalker out there. And she's the one we haven't talked about. She got mentioned once or twice, but we haven't looked at her. Process of elimination. I did a top 10 heroes video that looked at both offensive, defensive capability, teamwork, survivability, a whole bunch of different categories. My goodness, she scored high. She had near perfect score. And now in terms of attack, looking specifically at attack capability, I'm going to give the perfect score to Dovekeeper. Dovekeeper is the ultimate attacker. Her damage cap keeps her alive the entire time. Something like a survival is going to give her heal as well as damage negation. I have the Empower down there. Never mind that. It's for HBM AJ. Don't ever put Empower on Dovekeeper. Okay? Do something else. But that survival option, going to keep her alive the full 3-minute battle. Rudolph, nearly indispensable as a pet. It's going to heal her as well as dispel negative conditions. She needs that. You pair those two up, you're good. Okay, her attack damage gets boosted during her skill activation. It's already very, very high. But she has the ability to kill one shot, raining a crit strike down, to kill off every single hero in this game, except Zephyrica and another Dovekeeper. She'll kill off a lava the moment that damage cap goes down. The guy's gone. So there's only 2 heroes that are going to give her any kind of trouble. And she will be able to be in it for the full 3-minute battle as you and hopefully other team members are able to whittle down their damage cap. Got the, look at this, 8,200 accuracy. We'll get there in a minute. Got her with stealth, just like with Zephyrica. She doesn't die. It's not possible. Okay, it's possible if I drop her out on the board alone against 6 heroes. And they're all silencing. And even a hero that can't be silenced, its talent can be silenced. Its enchantment can be silenced. Stealth can be silenced. Survival can be silenced. It would take silencing shots. It would take rippers. You'd have to throw Ares in there. You got to stun her up. You got to put a blindfold on her. You got to feed her hot tamales, okay, in order to get her to say it's enough now, okay? There's no way to take this lady out if she's built well and she's at the highest level of upgrading. Again, game imbalance problems, yes. We've got 2 indestructible heroes in this game, and the rest are all one-shotted immediately. But Dove is the best of the best, and she is the one that you need to use in an attack scenario. Healing Ritual, like Zeph, she's all attack, so heal while she's attacking. And all that accuracy. She doesn't miss. And that decision, is it better to hit for higher, or is it better to hit more often for lower? I'll hit more often for lower damage, because the 2 that are giving me problems are Zeph and Dove. and they're both capped at 18,000 and 36. So even a sneeze from Dovekeeper would reach the 36,000 damage cap. So I'm not worried about the damage capability. I'm worried about her hitting as often as possible, and she does so with the accuracy. If there is any negative to Dovekeeper, it would be... Well, I can't find one. Okay, in terms of an attack scenario, she gets the perfect score. Our friend Lady Dove doing a fantastic job, coming in at #1 best attacker in Castle Clash. I want to thank you all for tuning in. I hope these videos are helpful to you in building a team or just giving you some ideas. None of these are set in stone. I try to present an idea, try different combos, what works for your playstyle. These are looks at a hero and how he, she, or it can be best used in an attack scenario in this game. All right, everybody, you enjoy your clashing. I'll check you later. Bye-bye.